Say when.
When?
I am back. You are comfortably zoned with me, the Zigzag Man, in Alameda, California. We are pushing on the life on the doors of we are pushing on the doors of life marked pull. And we do this on a regular basis. Um, Basically, on this show, we fight the unholy trinity, which is big business, organized religion, and the government. And they are systematically fucking us. And we make people aware. And we also talk a lot of baseball, ganj, and life. So it's going to be a good show today. And I'll tell you why. Paulie, how you doing first?
I'm doing well, Ziggy. I'm in the bunker. I've got sandbags around me. Nobody's getting in. I brought you sandbags for yours. And so, yeah, we're good. We're hunkered down in the bunker. We're ready to go.
Yeah. We all need a prayer book. I'll tell you, things things are absolutely as bad as I've ever seen them. And we've been through some rough times in the last couple of years. But when the President of the United States sends National Guard and troops into Washington, D.C.
Yeah, I'm wondering what that's about, right? Because you can only have them for a couple of weeks without Congress, stepping in.
But we know how Congress is, too. Hey, let's bring Matthew DiBiase, our guest, into this, Paulie.
All right.
How are you, Matthew?
Well, I'm alive. Still alive. Don't ask me how or why. Really, considering what's been going on since January 20th of this year, I'm still alive so far. But who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
You know, the people who don't care, and they don't seem to not care. It's just a matter of they're oblivious to what's going on. They're happier. And knowing is the booby prize, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I can't keep your head in the sand over this. Give me an analysis from your standpoint, Matthew. You've been so great as a political scientist of Comfortably Zoned. To be real quick and tell you how our relationship got started. Yeah. The first time I had you as a guest, you told me some very disturbing things about the correlation of Trump's ideology with Nazi Germany. Now, I'm a Jew boy. So if at that time I was almost appalled by the equation that you presented, Hitler, my grandmother was killed by Hitler, my father's brothers were killed and his family. So I couldn't imagine things being like you said, but quickly Trump has turned into another fucking Hitler.
Yep.
And so thank you for, and I'm glad I got by the interaction with you, because I could have gone, hey, this is a kook who's exaggerating, and you're not a kook, and you weren't exaggerating. Things are bad. Give me a rundown, and I will tell you that I respect you and your position on things immensely. And to say nothing of your sports, you wrote 3 books, am I correct?
Four.
Fuck. Yeah. Incredible.
And I've got 2 in the hopper coming up, hopefully next year, if they don't kill me off, man, or send me to concentration camp. I got 2 more in the hopper. One coming out first week April next year, and the other one, the 6th one, will come out first week October next year. God willing, man. If I could just stay alive.
Well, God has a lot to do with it, of course. Hey, what can I tell you? If you believe, more power to you. But I want to suggest to people that they don't have to bring the financial side of it into religion. Whatever you do, you could take all the money that you spend on Sunday in the toll booth or whatever it's called. Buy a science kit for your kid.
Yeah.
And stay home, watch the football game on Sunday, and realize that there's a different way of looking at it.
Yeah.
That there's that little thing called the way we were created, and it just doesn't make sense to me. But I want to also say, if it brings one comfort out there to do it, get a lobotomy. Okay, I gotta call attention to it every now and again. It's part of the unholy trinity. Religion, the killing thing about religion, besides the boinking of the kids, of course, which is inexcusable. Except for Epstein, he can compete now with the Catholic Church in terms for all-time atrocities. But he had a partner in it who the partner who was serving 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So far.
In a secure prison.
Minimum.
And they come across because this Giselle or whatever, however she pronounces it. Okay.
Yeah.
She's got evidence that concludes that Trump was all in the Epstein files, which is a big surprise. So they've got to go, they move her to a minimum security thing, pre-pardon. And if you could justify how a child molesting scumbag can get a pardon, you'll have to bring in all the people on January 6th who were convicted of trying to do to the country what Giselle was doing to the kids.
Yeah.
And they got a pardon. So let's start. Does Trump have a bottom, Matthew?
No, there is no bottom. I mean, when you're dealing with absolute evil, Ralph, there is no bottom. It's just more bloodshed, more innocent victims sacrificed. I mean, I have this motto that I use when I talk to school kids. Every dictatorship is built on an edifice of death. And what we've been seeing since January 20th this year is day by day, step by step, inch by inch, the road is being paved, the railroad lines are being laid, the cross ties are being laid down, the railroad spikes are being hammered in, and it all leads to the same destination, Ralph. The concentration camp, the gas chamber, and the crematoria. I mean, right now we already have Alligator, Alcatraz in Florida. In my neighboring state of New Jersey, Ralph, they're converting old Fort Dix McGuire Air Force Base in Lakehurst thing into a New Jersey concentration camp. I just saw on the news that they're building one in Indianapolis called Speedway Slammer, hubba, 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 and all of that. So that's three. We got three. Got three now. So I would not be surprised if all 50 states have some type of a concentration camp in it. And with all this constant enabling in Congress, in those Trumpite judges who are turning a blind eye to it, they are paving the way to the same destination, which is death for millions. I mean, I hate to be so gloomy about it, but that's where we're at, step by step, inch by inch. We are all heading to the same way for a lot of beautiful, innocent people. And I fear for
How do we stop him? That's my question.
Oh, boy. I mean, the thing is, Ralph, traditional methods are not working. Traditional liberalism is not working. And in a sense, we've got to think out of the box. I think it's kind of like World War II. You had to come up with brand new weapons to beat the Nazis, to beat the Japanese, beat the Axis and all that. We got to come up with new weapons. I mean, in a sense, we need a new country. I think, almost like a new. Here we are. We're experiencing the 250. Last April 19th was the 250th anniversary of Lexington Carter. In a sense, we need a new American Revolution. I'm serious.
Thank you.
I was waiting. And it doesn't have to be a violent one. It can be an economic one. If people stop contributing to taxes, and bring religion into it, if they stop giving money and giving free tax exemptions that bankrupt our cities. That's what these exemptions do. There's a big church here in Alameda that owns an incredible amount of property, and they don't pay taxes. They have a school that's going great, and they don't pay taxes on that. They pay no infrastructure taxes. That's a pity. And we have to stop big business. If we stop contributing to big business, they will stop funding Congress.
Yeah.
Because they are buying a representation. No question.
Yeah. I mean, basically, you're getting corporate fascism, but then it was like the Nazi Germany, too. You had these big barons. They were taking advantage of the, Krupp, Fleek, IG Farben, and they were taking advantage of it. And then they were using concentration camp labor, slave labor. I mean, that's why the 12 Nuremberg war crimes trials that followed the famous first one were devoted to 3 German industrial concerns, Krupp, Fleek, and Farben. And Farben was the one that made the Zyklon B gas that killed, millions upon millions of innocent Jews.
Right. Yeah. Before I let you go, let you talk, I just want to say one thing. There was a news report that O'Connell moderated, and it showed remarks about Schumer that Trump made that in any other time would have him arrested. I mean, could you imagine what my grandfather would say if he woke up today and saw things as they were, and blatant anti-Semitism, and the main news media doesn't report any of this shit.
I know. In a sense, it reminds me.
And that's big business. That's big business.
Yeah. And what it reminds me of was that Edward R. Murrow gave his immortal See It Now thing on Senator Joe McCarthy on March 8th of 1954. In his peroration, he said, we the media played a part in it too. We made Joe McCarthy possible in all of that. So he understood and it's the same thing here. I mean, they're just faithfully reporting all these outrages, and they don't realize that when democracy is overthrown, all those networks will be wiped off the face of the earth. That you cannot have present-day media in a dictatorship. They will be annihilated. I mean, literally annihilated. All of them. Even Fox will be annihilated. I mean, just seriously. I mean,
there'll be one station. It'll be Trump.
Yeah.
Trump at 7. Film at 11. That kind of thing.
You know what they're going to be showing after the democracy finally overthrown? Nothing but blood purge trials. Every day you're going to see the execution of Senator Schumer, the execution of AOC, the execution of Hillary Rodham Clinton, the execution of President Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama. Seriously, that's going to be the entertainment for the Trump's dictatorship. Because don't laugh, Iran in 79. That's what they did. They showed the trials and they showed the executions on camera there. I remember that in 79. They were showing the trials there. And I suspect the same thing here, because he has to maintain terror. And the only way to maintain terror is to actually show, the humiliation of these people, kind of like what Roland Freiser did to the bomb plotters, the Hitler bomb plotters there. That was filmed for the whole world to see, though. The executions were filmed. They weren't shown publicly, but it was shown to Hitler himself for his own private gratification and all of that. But I'm serious. I mean, that literally will be the form of entertainment once the democracy is overthrown. You're going to see nothing but a bloodletting, constant bloodletting, because his enemies are legion. And every night, Rosie O'Donnell, Robert De Niro, heck, us, all of MSNBC, Rachel Maddow, Lawrence O'Donnell, all of them, Jimmy Kimmel, Colbert, all those, everyone who ever had the courage to, the E. Jean Carroll, Stormy Daniels, anyone had the courage to expose Trump and point the finger at him and show him for the fraud and the dictatorial charlatan he is and the false Christ that he is. It's going to be put on display on TV set, and subjected.
Hey, Pauly laughed about the bunker.
Yeah.
But, it could happen. I remember reading about the first book I ever read as a kid was not the first book, the Diary of Anne Frank, and what she went through, having to be hidden by people. And that was her youth and how she grew up and was killed at 13.
She died of disease. I mean, she didn't even die in a gas chamber. She, her sister Margot, and her mother died of a horrific typhus outbreak in February of 45. I mean, she was 15, 16 years old, thereabouts. I'm approaching her 16th birthday or something like that.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. She not in a gas chamber. No. She died of disease there, but the horrific conditions at Belsen concentration camp. And here's a little prediction. You're building these concentration camps now for the undocumented and also probably all future political prisoners here. The fact that RFK Jr. is de-emphasizing vaccines, he's withdrawing money for research, you're jamming all these people together. And if you're creating substandard sanitation conditions, substandard nutrition conditions, you talk about
you're killing people.
Yeah. I mean,
Trump isn't used to killing people. And unless you remember his first term, when how many people died unnecessarily of COVID?
The prediction I'm going to make that if you build more of these concentration camps and you start filling them to overflowing, and if you're subjecting the inmates to poor rations, because malnutrition makes you more vulnerable to disease. Plus, you're crowding them. If you're not making sure they're properly vaccinated, that's a hot spot, not only for COVID. You've got typhoid, you've got typhus, other infectious diseases. Don't be surprised if you see outbreaks emanating from those camps, and guess what? It spills out into adjacent populations.
And the funny thing is we're seeing diseases we haven't seen in so many years.
Measles, for Christ's sake. Kids are dying of measles.
Measles were eradicated. Now we have cases of Legionnaire's disease killing people in New York.
Yeah, absolutely. But that happened in World War II, Ralph. You would have these massive, because of the starvation conditions and the poor sanitation and concentration camps. There were records of disease outbreaks emanating from the camps, and it was affecting the adjacent German villages or whatever villages that were either in German or occupied Europe that were adjacent to those concentration camps, because it was spreading. It was leaping out from the camps and affecting adjoining populations. So in a sense, the Germans were getting bitten by their own snake when you think about it. But funny though, that's a prediction I'm going to make. If you get more of these camps and you're subjecting overcrowding decisions, and I remember like in his first reign of terror, from 2017, those kids at those border ICE camps there, they were not top conditions, man. Kids were not, not proper bedding, not proper food, not proper medical condition, and you doing this en masse with, you got, was it 11 million undocumented there, and you're jamming them in like that? I think you're going to see outbreaks, and I think
they were separating the diseases notwithstanding.
Yeah.
Their first crime was separating the kids from their parents.
Yep.
On both of those people, the kids and the parents, they're ruined for a lifetime.
I know.
The trauma, if they ever see the kid again, and the thought of where's my kid every day, I'm a parent, I can just well imagine the horror. And can you imagine? Those people were here because they were looking for a better way of life.
That's right.
And they read the Statue of Liberty, what was put on there. And they said, give us your tire, you're poor, and shit like that. And they believed it. And the American dream has been killed with Trump. So again, my question to both of you is, what can we do to make a difference?
I think you need a massive civil disobedience thing. I think that thing in Texas where the Democrats are leaving and not agreeing go back in session with the state legislature there is one bit of it. I think you need was a massive civil disobedience thing. In fact, don't laugh. I think last 6 months ago, I think with Jerry, I floated an idea with Jerry. Either it was on the show here or as in a private. It was the last time I actually talked to Jerry Feidelberger, Lord, may God rest his soul, and all that.
Yes.
We talked about how about a liberal secession, basically non-Trump states, Democratic states, basically a reverse secession. In other words, we're breaking away. We will not enforce your oppression here. We'll create a government of our own here. Basically, a massive civil defiance here. In other words, we will dismantle your concentration camps and just break away here. In other words, your whatever your edicts are, no, we're going to create our own little country. At least as a start there, some type of a massive civil disobedience thing. He's
weaponizing that. So a massive civil disobedience won't be civil very long.
I know.
It depends on who starts it. I remember Kent State too, where the feds came in. So I contend again, Pauly, back me up on this if you would. Or disagree with me if you would. But we don't disagree on too many ideological levels.
We've got a slightly different flavor, but it's all in the same. It's all in the same ice cream.
It's got to be economic, and if people stop spending money for a week on unnecessary things, and on basically the treats of life, which keep the department stores open, and this, that, and the other thing, I think we can make a difference in that manner. And I know how you can make a difference, young man, Matthew, because I see the cross thing coming up every time the fight. It's well intended, but getting back to what the hierarchy of your religion is doing to kids, that's got to be stopped.
I know. But it's not just
we have a new
Pope. I mean, there's sexual trafficking in other faiths too. I mean, look at Mormons, those polygamous things. They take advantage of little girls too, I've seen stuff like that. I've seen
I know, but just the sound of that. Just the sound of that. When the religion that we're talking about initially has a populace of 12,000 times what the Mormons are doing. And just because the Mormons are doing it doesn't excuse it.
Oh, I'm not excusing it.
No, but you're not. So what can you do from the inside, I'm asking you, contribute to the reformation of the church that you worship in. You're incredibly well spoken.
After this, I do want to go backwards because you teased me and then you invited me in the pool and then you said stay out because whatever, because we were talking about something else. But I want you to finish the religion part because I know there's a lot of stuff and I have stuff to say about religion also.
We get back to religion. We could do that at any time. There's always room for criticizing religion. And I'm not saying that what the Jews are doing in Israel, condoning what's going on in Israel, Netanyahu is just like Trump. That's bad.
I mean, that's a betrayal of the original concept of what Israel was founded on. I mean, when they founded it, I mean, we're coming up on the 80th anniversary, and in 3 years from now, it'll be 80 years. You know, what was the founding principle, if I remember correctly, a democratic socialist state and all that? I think with the Democratic Party, you need a brand new Democratic Party. It's like 90 years ago when FDR was elected president. He basically created a brand new party. In other words, traditional democratic politics weren't working. And what he did was he literally rewired the entire Democratic Party and created a brand spanking new party. And I think 90 years from now, I think we need a brand spanking new Democratic Party. I think we can't go back to the old liberalism because it's not working. I think you need new weapons. I think you need literally. I'm kind of intrigued by the fact that New York City had that guy Madani there, you know, in his primary and all that. The fact that he's describing himself as a democratic socialist. I mean, he's being very naked about that. I'm wondering if it's like what Bernie Sanders did 10 years ago. He was sowing seeds, and now you're seeing some of those seeds sprouting and all that. And I'm wondering, because basically one casualty of Trumpism is moderation and centrism. It's basically there's just two sides now. There is no real middle anymore. And in a sense, it's like Newtonian physics. If we're being violated and raped by extreme Nazism, then what you're coming back is you have to come back with extreme, you know, we got to get radical. We got to get almost weird about it. We got to get as radical as we can. I mean, Bernie was showing the way 10 years ago. I think we need to kick it. We got to kick it up a notch. We
were disenfranchised from Bernie. The Hillary Clinton thing. He should have been president. He's the only person who could have stood up against Trump in 2016.
Yeah.
He was electable, and he's so logical.
Yeah.
Paulie, let me get back to you for a second. Sorry for cutting you off.
No, it's okay. You didn't cut me off. It was just that you guys transitioned very seamlessly into the next conversation. So, and it's fine. I just you teased me, and so one thing I'm going to ask you to do while I'm doing my little thing is. Can you do me a favor and see if you can put in your earbuds because your mic just started walking out about a minute and a half ago.
Okay.
So your question was, what can we do about this? Wow, that is a hell of a loaded question. I think what Matt said in the beginning is very true. That conventional approaches have not worked with this.
Yeah.
I mean, he's basically a werewolf or a vampire where we need a wooden stake in the heart. I don't know. Right? It has to be something. We haven't found his kryptonite other than maybe the Epstein tapes. If there was ever a PP tape. You know, we need a good old.
If there's a rogue Secret Service guy out there with a terminal disease that has nothing to lose, he's already lost his dignity just by protecting the fucker. That could be an issue.
So the only thing I won't advocate for. And you'd be surprised is violence against this guy. Because I'm not going to lower myself to that standard. I'm not. We don't need that. But this is what we need to do. I think there's not any one answer. I don't think any one person can take this elephant down. And it's going to take a suppression round of things. It's going to take, like you said, an economical boycott of stuff. It's going to be civil disobedience.
Yeah.
It's going to be a revolution on different wavelengths, things like the no king stuff. It's going to be people like us speaking truth to power, like comedians. You were saying, what's his bottom? And Matt said he had no bottom. What was the first thing I thought of? Oh yeah, he's got a bottom because Stormy Daniels spoke him on it, right? She spanked him with it, right? With the magazine. So we know he has a bottom. I've seen him play tennis. I've seen him play golf. He's got a big bottom. That's not the problem. You mean his moral bottom. You're right. He's willing to do anything. He's making concentration camps.
Yeah.
I mean, you're literally, we that's all you can call them at this point.
Yeah.
You know, they're not detention centers and blah, blah, blah. These people are not ever seeing due process.
No due process.
Habeas corpus has gone out the window, so at any time I'm waiting for ICE to come raid me because, you know, they're going to superimpose MS-13 on my nipples. By the way, folks, no MS-13. Look down. I'm just telling you, and like I said, they're going to have to take me out of a department store like a kid that wanted a toy by his mom. They're going to have to drag me out because I'm screaming out of this country.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be knocking down every shelf in town. So what do we got to do? Everybody has to do their part in whatever that part is.
Which is get radical. I mean, it's like 60 years ago now. I mean, that same spirit that led to the civil rights movement, those kids going to the South, you know, Oregon, helping, you know, Martin Luther King and all that. You need that same radical spirit. I mean, the protest against the Vietnam War, you need that involvement. You need to get together, find some way to resist any which way you can. You know, like I said, a massive civil disobedience thing. And, you know, what you need, it's got to be a cumulative effect there. You know, you got because traditional methods aren't working here. I think you got to get. I mean, it's almost like you need a new. If Trumpism is overthrown, I submit we need a new constitution, a type of very radical constitutional reform there, especially with the Supreme Court there. You've got to reestablish new safeguards because the old traditional safeguards no longer work because you've got Trump here and you've got courts willing to negate the traditional safeguards and turn a blind eye and let him get away with murder, literally, you know, a future mass murder there. And I think what you need is like a new constitution. It reminds me of the waning days of the French Fourth Republic. The government was utterly impotent, and they were this close to a fascist military-style dictatorship. And de Gaulle came back and basically gave France a brand-spanking new constitution, which is still in effect today, present-day Fifth Republic. It's kind of like that. In the sense, you almost need a true radical constitutional reform there. You know, just reconstitution of things to make sure you.
I just thought of something that would help.
Hold on a second, everybody, because Ralph, your mic is walking out, buddy.
Yeah,
it's bad. So what we're gonna do, since you don't have your earbuds, I'm guessing that's what I'm gonna do. But hold on. So. I was trying to not tip my hand. I was gonna say we're gonna just reset you. Hold on a second. So I'm gonna kill your guys' mic. I'm gonna hang up on you guys. And I'm gonna say our little thing. I want you guys to reach out to us at Zig In The Zone. That's right. How do you reach out to us at Zig In The Zone? There you go. Go follow us, like us, subscribe, and all that good stuff. These are the places to like, subscribe, ring that little bell. You can check out Ralph on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on Twitch. Okay. Also, we know Ralph says, give your local Head Start program. They're having problems just like every other entity in this country. And they're not getting the funding from our government like they should. So please go gather up some books and give to your local Head Start program. It's really easy. and everybody has the chance of doing it. And let me see here now, if I can join the call again, and it might even get better. We'll see. So again, give to your local Head Start program. Give to your local Head Start program, and that's what Ralph says. And it sounds like we're still on it because I think we all have to hang up for it to reset, guys. So everybody hang up for me, and I'm going to do one more commercial break, and we'll be right back with you guys. And you guys can hear him, which is really great. Anyway, so we're going to do a commercial break. We'll be right back after this. Whether it's criminal defense, estate planning, or civil litigation, the answer is the law offices of Andrew Doja. Call us today at 510-865-1600 or find us on the web at dojalaw.com.
For tenant and landlord disputes, there's no other than the law office of Jeff Canberra. Call now 1-510-865-7369 and don't forget to tell them Zig sent you.
All right, and we're back here live in studio, and I think I just forced it. I think I just forced it. Smart little guy. That'll show Ralph he needs his earbuds. But way better now. Thank you for hanging in there. No, it did work. It works. It did work. So we'll talk about it later. We'll take care of laundry or this stuff later. But we're back with you guys, and I can hear you guys clearly now, so that's good. So jump back in, guys. Okay. I already did our commercials. I did your Zig Says. I did all that stuff. But that's it. Go for it.
Hey, I don't know if you got what Matthew and I were talking about, is that my idea, which we've talked about, Pauly, for months now, almost a year and a half, is that we must support the ACLU. And the ACLU will help influence the courts, and the courts are where it's going to come from. And I can't think of anything else other than we've got to make sure that these judges are well informed beyond their own politics, and they have to be well informed about the ramifications if they don't help.
Yeah.
Matthew, you just described what could happen in this country if we don't do something about it.
Yeah.
And that alone, that tape should be sent to every judge in America.
Yeah. But when you have 6 conservative Supreme Court justices who are working towards the future, not working towards justice, they're working towards the future. That's the problem. It hates everything that the lower courts are doing to preserve democracy and preserve the rule of law there. So in a sense, it's not just Trump. You got to do radical reform at the Supreme Court level. I mean, someone was talking about the Democratic thing, Project 2029, which is expand the justices to 13, which has been floating around. I've heard that proposed on MSNBC and all that. But I think, at the merit, impose a code of ethics, which the Supreme Court does not have. In other words, impose a judicial code of ethics, which all the lower courts have, but Supreme Court does not have, to avoid these blatant conflicts of interest. Where you see, Clarence Thomas and them, they got stock, and Scalia used to do that. He had stock at certain companies, and he refused to recuse himself, and deliberately refused, and all of that. But I think some type of massive reform, if we survive this through the grace of Almighty God, or through some whatever miracle. I mean, I know how you feel about, but if we could survive, I think you need radical reform here. I know it's a new form of government, a completely thing, just like Roosevelt did in 32 when he took over in 33. and with the New Deal, total radical change of how federal government works. I think it's the same thing needs to be done here. A total, complete, radical change there.
Here's a simple solution. You pump ganj, vape it into every government courtroom, every meeting in the world, every school. Just that would change the world. That sounds simple.
Yeah,
but
you remind me of what Paul McCartney said. There's that thing at Monterey '67 Monterey Pop Festival. David Crosby talks about. I'm going to quote for you from someone. If we gave LSD to all the world leaders, it would have put an end to wars. That's a quote from Paul McCartney, and I concur heartily.
Well, not that absolutely. But
here's one thing psychedelics does. Here's one thing psychedelics does. It gives people empathy. It does. You realize that you're just some little fucking small speck in this universe of ours, and you realize that you're so inconsequential. And boy, I think it would be a good thing for Monfuhr. No, he's a Fuhrer, but he's not Monfuhr. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, it would be good for him to do.
Yeah,
because I think he would have some realization. I think he'd be like, "Whoa, dude, what have I been doing? Oh man!"
Some cook will stir up some hemlock for him, and it won't be violent. And it won't even be known, and he'll just go into oblivion.
So I'm dying to say this to you, Zig, because I've been waiting to say this to you. But guess what? He's totally doing something that you love.
What's that?
You're gonna have to thank Donald Trump for something. Did you know that?
Oh, no, he wants to lessen, in other words, a type A.
He wants to declassify marijuana.
Yeah.
That is such years after it should have been done.
Sure.
And such a political statement that it got lost even on me. I read, yes, that'll make a big difference, especially in California where it's legal anyway.
Yeah,
right. But he's also the guy that kind of declassified some of that CBD stuff too.
Yeah.
Right. What a great
guy. So he's done a couple things that I kind of go, oh shit, I'm with Trump. Here's the other one. Paper straws.
Yeah.
If somebody hands me a paper straw, I hand it right back to him.
Ralph, I'd like to suggest something to you. Can I suggest something? Let's say through the grace of God, we overcome Trump. In other words, democracy is restored again. I would suggest that you can't try Trump in the usual U.S. District Court sense in a conventional trial. That I would argue for. I posted like this. Our mutual friend Pete Golenbach, I suggested a Nuremberg-type trial because considering how comprehensive and how criminal the criminality is of the Trump regime, I think you need something like a Nuremberg-type trial because his criminality is touching on every single aspect of America, not just politically or legally, but it's also on health, education and all that. I think kind of like what we did with the Nazis, because like the 12, subsequent Nuremberg trials touched on various aspects like the perversion of German medicine, the Einsatzgruppen, the industrialization, the perversion of the German judiciary and all that. And I would argue the same thing. I think you need some type of a new judicial thing where you have to try these Trumpites because it is blatant criminality there. Not just him, but the cabinet, his enablers in Congress, the judges who are enabling him. I would recommend that if we can survive this and somehow Trumpism is overthrown in some way or fashion, that would be my earnest recommendation.
And here's the other thing. We're always talking about the power of the vote. Okay, so he's not going to go for another term.
He said a couple weeks ago he doesn't think he's going to go for a third term, and we're like,
there ain't going to be any elections.
You can't.
My
point is, let me finish. But my point is, if we really do have the power of the vote, even especially at these lower levels, all these Republicans that have been siding with him and just letting this shit pass, get them the fuck out of office. You need to get some other progressive people, younger thinkers, I don't know. But all these other people have been literally grandfathered in. And you're right.
I don't think they're going to be elections, because I've got this eerie feeling. I mean, if it's really building up, I mean, it looks like he's really going to lose his congressional base there. He loses control like he did in 2018, where he lost the House and all that. He can ill afford to do that. You notice they're already cheating in Texas there. They're trying to cheat. But if it's getting worse and it's going to transcend the cheating, in other words, he's going to lose it anyway, I think he's going to go martial law. I think he'll create a Reichstag fire incident, declare martial law, cancel all elections, and then the blood purges begin. Mass arrests, the prisons and the concentration camps begin to fill, and the streets run with innocent bloodshed.
Well, Matthew, I'm glad you were able to put a little positive spin on it.
I'm sorry, but I mean, hey, that's the thing about dictators. If history teaches us anything, is that when a dictator is facing risk, his back is to the wall, and he's facing a possible loss of power, they always respond with bloodshed. Stalin did that with his blood purges. Mao did that, and with the Cultural Revolution. Hitler did it, with the Night of the Long Knives, and then later the subsequent purge after the July bomb plot of 1944. When they're back to the wall, they always respond with extreme bloodshed. So, I mean, this Epstein thing is growing, but the thing is, if it's really going to topple him, if he starts losing his own people, you watch, something's going to happen. There's going to be some type of violent backlash. And I think...
And who's his army? And guess who his army is? Not just the U.S. Army, but guess who his army is?
It's
Russia. It's these ICE people.
Yeah. I mean, I often wonder how many of those ICE agents are true, legitimate federal agents. How many of them are Proud Boys, Oath Keepers?
They've already ousted them. They have already ousted so many of them that actually were January 5th people.
Right.
Yes.
That too. I mean, it basically...
And they just reduced, like, there's no age limit. There's hardly no requirements.
I
want to say this. I'm going to tell you something really true that happened the other day, but I'm not going to tell you until we're
off the air who this person was.
Okay.
But I was told the other day, they said,
guess what?
I got a deposit in my bank account. And I said, oh, okay.
Paycheck, whatever, what's going on? And they said, well, no, it just showed up, and
I thought it was kind of funny,
and it was a couple $100, and
so
I went and checked my statement online, dialed in, and looked at it. It always says a transaction, like who deposited it, or whatever, and it was a number. It was an 800 number for the Department of Homeland Security. And it had an 800 number on it.
So the individual called that 800 number to go, you guys made a deposit of a couple $100 in my account. It was a voicemail or an automated thing. It says if you're calling to report a neighbor or basically if you're reporting somebody that's deported, call this other 800 number. This is not for that. This is another whatever number with the Department of Homeland Security.
I'm not surprised. That's typical in fascist governments. When I was visiting Leipzig, Germany, there's a museum dedicated to the infamous Stasi, the former East German secret state police there. Basically took over from the communist form of the Gestapo. They talked about a nation of snitches where it was encouraged. In other words, rat on your neighbors. And in fact, the Nazis did the same thing. The Gestapo. You always had Germans. Oh, my neighbor is a Jew. My neighbor is a communist. My neighbor is gay. My neighbor is this and this. And that's all the Gestapo did was process the accusations. If they saw merit accusation, that person got sent to a concentration camp. And you're seeing the same thing. Hey, during the McCarthy era, FBI was saying, "Oh, my neighbor's a commie. This person's she's a commie. He's a commie." And you were seeing the same thing in the 50s. With McCarthy, people accusing their neighbors of being commies, and all that. Same thing, nation of snitches, man. So I'm not surprised at that. I see that, the encouragement of that. You're going to see that down the road. I mean, you always see commercials, oh, if you know something, call this number, yada, yada, yada. You're always seeing that encouragement, people to snitch. It happened with the Jews. Oh, neighbor, hey, what are you doing this time? I'm your friend. Oh, you're a Jew. You deserve to die. And it happened. It happened.
Right.
I'm turning their friends in, because they were Jews.
And people are hurting. We're in an economic downfall. Couple $100 to somebody who has nothing, like a homeless person or whatever right now.
Basically, if you hear gossip, you got to watch what you say. You don't talk about certain things. Well, not just being undocumented or even gay, but I'm if you're autistic. I mean, why are you registering all the kids with autism? I think that's a future euthanasia project. That's another prediction.
Wow.
That's my prediction.
There's just some wild things that are going out, and it's funny, and I've never been a conspiracy theory kind of person, but I've heard some really weird stuff lately, and I'm starting to go, ooh.
Yeah.
It does kind of line up because... So one of the things that was about all this Jeffrey Epstein stuff is that he used to Jeffrey Epstein before. The reason he got like a lot of his money was from the guy from Victoria's Secret, right? The guy that knows Victoria's Secret and whatever the other thing was. He basically scammed him and got money out of him, kind of for being his confidant. And one of the things Jeffrey Epstein, one of his scams was to inflate people's net worth. And we know Trump did that for years. He was busted. He was supposed to be on number 4 in the Fortune 500 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And we caught that even before he went in 2016.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of shit.
I think Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were intelligence operatives who served multiple masters. I mean, and one of which was, of course, Russian intelligence. I think that both of them were intelligence operatives. I think the only reason why Ghislaine Maxwell is alive now is because she got compromising for materials. I think that's the only thing that's keeping her alive, because she's got caches probably all around the world of files, copies of files, videotapes, photographs, documents, because if I were in her shoes, that's what I would have been doing too, making sure I've got things cached away just in case, just to keep me alive, as a bargaining chip. That's my
thing. But when she doesn't play ball, they'll off her in the same way they did Epstein.
Yeah, I mean, they're rocking her to sleep now, giving her a false sense of security. But even if democracy is overthrown, I think she's still going to get the chop, because dictators don't like being blackmailed. And I think there's some blackmail going along here. They're trying to lock her. They don't want her to expose the real truth. They're trying to cover up in such a way. She's trying to get out from under. So it's all filth anyway. Did you hear one of her
quotes from her lawyer the other day when he came out and said, yeah, they had that conversation? The one thing I thought was really funny, she wanted to pass on to the American public that she is not suicidal. I'm just telling you. Yeah. Right now, she's getting her Chateaubriand and surf and turf meal right now. Yeah. So I wouldn't want to eat anything coming at me.
What is it Charles Manson used to say when he talked about his murders? He said, "Oh yes, such and such committed suicide with a little help from us."
Right.
Yeah, he used to say that. Yeah.
And by the way, folks, I know her name is pronounced Ghislaine. I know it's Ghislaine. Or whatever. It's okay, but I never call her that anymore anyway. I call her Ghislaine. Ghislaine. So I think you guys understand. But anyway.
Yeah. Yes. But it's all filth anyway. It's all filth.
It is all filth.
I know, yeah. But I'm not surprised by it. It's all of a piece. All of it is a piece.
Yeah.
Hey, Matthew, do you enjoy coming on this show?
Oh, I love it. I love you, Ralph.
That's what I want to hear.
I want to stay alive. I want to be on again. Hey, when my baseball book comes out, I want to talk about my baseball book. like I said, first week April. So I figure sometime late May, right after the first Tuesday after Memorial Day, let's be on and let's talk about baseball. Something beautiful.
Hey, could you do a little Hail Mary for the Mets for me? Hail Mary full of grace.
I'm a Phillies guy, man. Hey, it's coming down to it, man. I don't know how far the Phillies are going to go in the playoffs and all that, man. It's going to be interesting. I mean, you've got Milwaukee coming up. Don't laugh. I'm going to be vacationing in a couple of weeks. I'm going to be seeing a Brewers game in Milwaukee. They're taking on the D-backs. I haven't been to a baseball game in 100 million years, so it's going to be interesting there. I got tickets, man, so it's going to be an interesting experience and all that. And
we saw what
I'm fascinated with the Tigers, man. It's going to be interesting to see. I think the Tigers are going to be in the ALCS. That's my prediction. Seriously, I think the Tigers are going to make it to the ALCS. I'm calling.
Well, time will tell. Yeah. Pauly, we doing okay time-wise?
Yeah, we're getting there, and your mic's starting to walk out again. And we'll talk about it afterwards, but that's okay. And we did get our commercial in and everything else. That's good. And I love being here, Ralph. You know I love being here, right?
I love being here for people like you.
And I love
on a regular basis.
And you know why? Not only for the pleasant conversation, the engaging conversation, but also the judge is like an hour off my sentence every time I do this. And so I really appreciate being here. So thank you.
Well, thank the judge for us. He's very lenient.
Yes, he is.
Let's get it that way.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
So we've already done our commercials. Matt, give us a shout out. Tell us what you got going, and then we'll get out of here soon. And then Zig, you do the same.
Okay, what I'm presently working on now is I'm in the draft 7 of my book, Patriarchs of the Dugout: Major League Baseball's Greatest Managers. If all goes according to plan, if I don't lose my job and I don't get sent to a concentration camp, release date should be first week of April. I will reveal who are the 50 greatest Major League Baseball managers of all time. And this one's going to be unique because my book will be the first that compares Negro League managers who managed from between 1920 and 1948 with already Major League managers that we already know, like John McGraw, Connie Mack. I don't believe anyone's attempted that to a book where they rank, the great Negro League managers like Rube Foster or Vic Harris, or Oscar Charleston alongside, how they rank alongside, Tony La Russa or Connie Mack or Casey Stengel and all of that.
Let me tell you something. I've been thinking about one of the most underrated managers in Major League history, and that's Smokey Alston, who worked under like 24 years on 1-year contracts.
Yep.
And never complained, won regularly, wasn't somebody you automatically dislike, like a DeRocher. For instance.
And he's in the book. He'll be there. I won't give away.
Okay.
There.
The numbers are all subjective.
Well, I use 3 standards for ranking the managers. Career value, which measures the quantity of your success. Your best 5 consecutive seasons. Imagine Casey Stengel's run from 49 to 53 as an example. Your ability to be dynamic. And also, your best 5 seasons overall. They don't have to be consecutive, though. In certain rare instances, it might be consecutive. But your best 5 performances, and as long as you had a minimum of 5 years managing at Major League Baseball level from 1871 to 2025, because I'm waiting for this present season to be completed. Because I've got some active managers who are featured in that book as well. I got to wait to see what happens to them. And I run them through, and I've got out of a pool of 274 managers, I figure out who the top 50 are, and the end product will come out first week April, God willing, and all that.
God willing, of course.
God willing, yeah. I mean, if you believe in God and all that, but just
even if you don't believe in God, somebody else does.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah. It's not my non-belief in God
Yeah.
that makes me a zealot anti-religious guy. It's the tax, and like I say, you diddle one kid, that's bad enough.
Yeah.
And dot.
Yeah.
So the church needs liquidation. One could say that the money you would save, either liquidation or tax them, and the money you would save could feed the poor, educate the curious, and house the homeless. All of them.
Yeah.
Everyone could do it if the church would, if they would tax religion. And then you can go on and pray. If you tax religion, the church would die without me, because they're a business. And if you stop the pornography, of course, Epstein gets the headlines now. But when he's done, the church is still going to be held accountable for a lot of people. And you know what? It's never too late to come back at your parents for leaving you there in the first place. You got to stop the cycle before they pass it on.
I know. Yeah.
That's all I'm going to talk about today, Paulie. It was a good show. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having me, man. I want to be back again, man. I want to come back, and again, I want to talk about my baseball book, and hopefully a miracle happens and we can escape this madness that's going to kill us all. If it's not stopped,
Go ahead.
Excuse me.
That's all right, Ralph. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to direct us out, but you should finish what you're saying. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that, Matthew, you mentioned Jerry Feidelberg, who
God rest his soul,
recently died.
I miss him.
Was a big part of Comfortably Zoned. Was an intellectual. And a great sportsman at the first, much like yourself.
I loved him. Guys, I love you, man. I loved him. I talked to him like less than a week before his death. We talked. He poured his heart to me, out for me, and I poured my heart out to him. And Jerry, I know you're looking down. I know he's in a beautiful place now. He's looking down because he's in a better world than we're in now. I wish you well, Jerry. I miss you, man. Love you. Okay. And
even if it's just from death we come to death, from ashes we come to ashes we get. If it isn't a looking down history, you miss him as a human being. I love that. He was like an uncle to me, and I loved him. I did. I told him that too. Okay. Well, as did I. One of my few friends in Alameda who passed. I'm going to mention Carlos's dad, my good friend. His dad just passed away, and I'm going to miss him too in Alameda. George Archibek, as well as my good friend Dave Hirsch, who was living in Canada for the last years of his life. He passed, and hey, the older you get, the more you realize that mortality sucks. I mean, I'm going to be 62 on Sunday. I'm going to turn 62 on Sunday, man. It's like, how many more have I got left, man? You keep wondering, where this country's going. Will Sunday be my last one, man? You how don't know. Many do you want?
Well, hey, that's only for the God in heaven to decide, man. I mean, I can do whatever I can, but hey, if it's going to get you, man, it's going to get you. You know, Hey.
And
Right.
I have the same. I say
the same thing about life that I just said about
taking me
taking me out of this country.
I'm gonna go out kicking and screaming like a kid that wanted a toy in that toy store, and his mom had to drag him out.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
knocking
shit down
on the way out, folks. That's how I'm going. I'm not gonna go silently into the night. No, I'm gonna be a rebel without applause.
I'm not going to be in a concentration camp. I mean, I'll die fighting. I mean it. I mean, I will die fighting. I will not go quietly into a gas chamber.
I will offer my killers a little hitsky. If that doesn't work, I got problems.
That's all you got. That's all you got.
That's all I got.
Yeah,
And
I got a joint.
You got a
I
joint
got a
song.
joint.
I think that says it all.
All right, guys.
I hate
to do it because
that
Mike is doing it.
I'm killing
your mic.
All right, guys. For myself, Matt, Ralph, we're out of here. We'll see you guys next week in the zone.
You too. You too. Thank you.